Hey friends, Christian here, and in today's video I'm gonna talk about my relationship with emotions, specifically why negative emotions are a bit of a mystery to me. If you're someone who has trouble recognizing or accepting when negative emotions arise, then stick around because I'll be sharing why that's the case for me, maybe something you can relate to, and I'll share a simple strategy we can use to start accepting our negative emotions. Also, please watch till the very end because I have a special treat for y'all. The only thing I'll say about it right now are these two words, Sesame Street. If it's your first time here, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Christian Kiwa. Friends call me Q. I'm on YouTube to make music, talk life, to work on being more authentic. If you like any of those things, if you're into music, philosophy, spirituality, psychology, or maybe you're just the weird person in your friend group or in your family, come to the right place. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that we can keep the vibes going. With that said, let's dive in. Generally speaking, I'm a positive person, an optimist. I always seem to find the silver lining. My glass is usually half full, but left unchecked, my proclivity for positive thinking can go a bit overboard. Rather than uncomfortably sitting with a negative emotion, even if that emotion is entirely called for, I'd rather put on my handy dandy rose-colored glasses and pretend like everything is just perfectly hunky-dory. Just take a peek at my self-talk.
Well, at least I'm alive. It could be worse. I have so much to be grateful for, so I shouldn't feel badly about this or anything else for that matter.
Look, a good attitude is a good thing. It can be developed with practice. But if I've learned anything from Pixar, it's that negative emotion, which is expressed in a healthy way, is also a good thing. This also can be developed with practice. So I need not deny my disappointment. I need not shy away from my sadness. I need only to seek out and practice healthier ways to deal with emotional distress. Throwing on my rose-tinted shades has served me well up to now, but it is the strategy I conjured up in my childhood, and since I'm no longer a kid anymore, despite my best efforts, I am due for an update. Before we brainstorm better ways to deal with those big feelings, I wanted to give my best guess as to why negative emotions are difficult for me in the first place. I know that they're difficult for everyone, but I have a particularly hard time even recognizing or accepting when I'm feeling bad, sad, or mad. Obviously, when it's really obvious, I know when I'm feeling those things, but a lot of times I just discredit my feelings and I push them aside or I bottle them in. Here's my take on why that's the case. Now, I know overgeneralizations are unfair to make due to the lack of nuance, but based on what I've heard from friends and based on my own experience, this is an overgeneralization I'm willing to make, or at least offer as a consideration given the limited evidence I do have, and it's this. Asian immigrant families are not so emotionally vulnerable. I'm a first-gen Filipino American. Both my parents were born and raised in the Philippines. Both of them come from old-school Filipino families, and what that means is we don't spend that much time talking about our feelings, even if they're good, and especially if they're bad. I won't dive deep into an analysis of the Filipino psyche. I will say that we are a very proud people. Sometimes when you're proud, it's tough to be vulnerable, and in the rare instance that you do share yourself vulnerably, some might say you're weak, or maybe some other not so nice Tagalog words. At the very least, you might make people uncomfortable and everyone will think you're weird. On the flip side, we're also a very happy people. Even our country's tagline is, "It's more fun in the Philippines." I've experienced firsthand during my visits back home just how much joy Filipino people can generate despite only having the bare minimum. And largely that was the dominant emotion I experienced in my childhood: joy, happiness, and love. And maybe I just have a bad memory for any of the bad times. It's very likely I blocked out any of those. But for all the good stuff, I will forever be grateful for that. The only issue though is that if you're just a kid and the only emotions that are modeled for you are the happy, feel-good ones, you'll grow up a bit confused when a bad feeling does come up. Maybe you wouldn't even know how to describe it, let alone express it in a healthy way. It's not that bad emotions weren't modeled, but maybe they weren't expressed in a healthy way. Here's an example that has nothing to do with emotions, but I think it illustrates the point. Several years ago, I was helping a friend move out of her apartment. There was a bunch of stuff in her room to pack up: pillows, blankets, trinkets, clothes, all that. At one point, she asked me to start packing up the duvet. I glanced around the room searching for something that might be called a duvet, since I'd never actually heard that word before. Finally, I just asked, "What's a duvet?" Little did I know that a duvet is a type of blanket. I didn't know because it wasn't part of my vocabulary. I never learned it. A limit or a gap in my knowledge was revealed in that moment. In the same way, we might have some limits or gaps in our emotional vocabulary. We may not know the name of the emotion or how to name it accurately, or we may not know how to express the emotion in a healthy way, just because no one ever taught us or modeled it to us. Something I'll always come back to is this idea that people are just doing the best with what they know. So if my parents, hey guys, only wanted me to experience happy emotions and they only wanted to minimize any sad emotions, well, I mean, A, that makes sense, and B, thank you very much. But they probably did that because it's all that they knew growing up. Be happy, don't be sad. It's well-meaning advice, but it also limits our emotional vocabulary. Also, I'm starting to see that this isn't just a Filipino thing or an immigrant thing. It's just a vulnerability thing. It's about how emotionally vulnerable or expressive your family is, regardless of culture. That said, I do believe that culture influences a family's base level of vulnerability. I would guess that certain cultures are more skilled at vulnerability than others, but I haven't done the research yet, so I could be wrong. So how can we improve our coping mechanisms? How can we let go of these rose-colored glasses? If you're like me, then those shades have helped you up to now. They've served you well, but is there a strategy that will serve us better? Of course there is. Let's take a look at Rumi's poem, The Guest House. Go ahead and pause the video to read this real quick. It's super short. While you're at it, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. That would be super dope. I know you just read it, but just to recap, basically the guest house says, welcome every emotion into your house or into your life the same way that you would a guest, even if it's uncomfortable or downright depressing. This personification of an emotion as a guest is excellent because guests have names. So I think the first step is to become familiar with our guests by knowing their names. Oh, your sadness. Oh, your anger. Thanks for visiting me. What can I do for you? Or what can you do for me? Just kind of treating it from a detached space instead of identifying so rigidly with it. Sometimes when we speak our truth or our experience out loud, when we verbalize it, that's enough to alleviate some of the suffering. When we name our emotions, welcome them in, we are no longer resisting. Ultimately, we're accepting them, surrendering to what is, being gentle and understanding of ourselves the way we would with a friend. We should accept what we're feeling instead of resisting it because, as the saying goes, what you resist persists. The next time I'm feeling off, I'm going to explore the feeling. I'm going to try to get to know him or her. I'm going to accept its presence, knowing that it's perfectly okay to feel. I think in some small way, this is a means to me accepting myself more fully. It's a way for us to be more authentic. But any hoodle, there it is, just a very simple tactic to accepting our negative emotions. I did promise you guys a special treat that had to do with Sesame Street. Maybe you guessed what it would be. It's a song, because this channel is about music as well, and I really haven't been posting music. I keep saying that I will, so this is a song about feelings, and it's from Sesame Street, and it's called Big Feelings. It's just basically saying that it's okay to have feelings, it's okay to feel your feelings, it's okay to even talk about your feelings. If that's something you never learned growing up, it's totally okay because you can learn that now. So without further ado, Big Feelings from Sesame Street. Capo. Gotta put the capo. There's so many different feelings that can be inside of you. You can feel mad or bad, we're scared, we're sad, all at the same time too. It's confusing when you're dealing with so many different feelings, especially when facing something new. You got big feelings, feelings jumbled up inside. You got big feelings, feelings, yeah. It's hard to sort them out, you can't brush them aside, 'cause your feelings are important and it's alright to feel lots of different feelings all inside of you. Feelings are your feelings, to have them is wrong. But the thing you must remember is sometimes they don't last long. You may find they come and go, and that's okay too, you know. In time things can get easier, I hope so. But for now I've got big feelings, feelings jumbled up inside. I got big feelings, feelings, yeah. It's hard to sort them out, you can't brush them aside, 'cause your feelings are important and it's alright to feel lots of different feelings. They may come and go, these feelings, lots of big, big feelings, all inside of you. Ooh. Ooh. Big feelings from Sesame Street. I hope that's helpful even if you're an adult. And if you're a kid, then welcome here. I didn't think any kids would be watching this. But anyway, again, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching and tuning in every week. If you're new here, please like, subscribe. If you're not new here and you still haven't done that, please like and subscribe and hit the bell so that we can keep vibing out together. And again, love you guys. And I'll talk to you next time.